All right, so normally when we start these podcasts, we play our little jingle at the first. Kind of gets you vibing, gets the beat going, gets everyone excited. You get to say, hello and welcome to the Post podcast. You get pumped up.
It's a tradition.
Yep. This will be the first podcast where we don't do that. I don't know how much we're going to get into this because just for what it is, it's kind of it's one of those topics that I think needs to be talked about, but it's kind of uncomfortable to talk about. And us being a couple white dudes from Maritimes in Canada, we have a pretty low kind of say in all of this.
Yeah, we don't really live in an area. Number one, because we're Canadian. There's not just statistically there's not as much crime here.
Yeah,
and specifically gun crime, but also because there's just.
I mean, it's not saying that the issues aren't in Canada because obviously they are. They're just not to the extent that they are in the United States right now. So
that's correct.
It's a little bit different for us. We follow it. We don't follow it heavily, but it is important. But I said to Neil before we did our live stream yesterday, I said we should probably do a cold open on the podcast and just kind of talk about what we think. Not that what we think really matters. This is so polarized that we're either going to have a lot of people agreeing with us or we're going to have a lot of people really not liking us. So I told Neil we kind of got to be careful what we say, but at the same time, I think it's a discussion for a reason. I think Anson Carter said, it's okay to speak up and it's okay to be wrong. Like if you have an opinion on something, you say it, and then you get more information on that opinion you had and you change your opinion. There's nothing wrong with that.
I think what I'm about to say just very quickly is the exact same thing that will be said at the end of the conversation. The fact that we're having this conversation is what is important.
Yes.
It's conversations like these that need to happen, not just with us, not just with Canadians, not just with Americans, but all over the world.
Right. And I'll tell you one of the things I have the biggest issues with from an outsider looking in is people saying that this is being politicized. Like, don't politicize this. Don't politicize. Like this issue is not a political issue to me. Like people are saying it's a political issue. Like, and then in the States they'll bring up, oh, well, you're talking, you want everyone to vote, blue in the next election, or you want this, or you want Biden this, and like this is not a political issue. Like this is people asking for people to be treated equally.
Yes, I'm sure there are some politicians who are using examples like this or could in the future.
It's more than just politicians. Like there's lots of people that have agendas that will use whatever they can to push that, and it's on us as an audience or as people to research enough of our own to find out what the actual facts of a situation are. Like, don't just go by what your Facebook feed, your Twitter feed, like you actually, like, it sucks, but today's information is totally propaganda based where there's people in the background pushing their agenda always.
100%.
So you have to do a little bit of work to find out what the actual issues are.
Yeah, totally.
And if you look at the actual issues, this is not a political issue in the grand scheme of things. This is people asking for all people to be treated equally. And if anyone has, there's people that will argue that.
This is a citizen issue.
Like, why do you not want people to be treated equally?
Yeah.
Is the question.
And for the record, Jason and I have not had this conversation.
No.
We have basically not talked about this.
We had people in the live stream that were going to ask us, or they did ask us,
last
and
night.
We said before the live stream that we weren't going to talk about it.
Yep. Well, we're filming this on a Saturday. I said last night, I meant Friday.
Yeah.
So this is Saturday as we're filming it. You'll see it on Sunday.
Neil's been moving and things have been busy, so we're doing this a little bit early like we did last week. So then that's the first issue I have is people saying that this is a political issue. And I just don't see it that way. I can see how people can construe it to be that, but at its heart, that's not what this is. This is people just saying that regardless of what your deal is, you should be treated equally. And I agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how you can disagree with that. I don't know how you can want one part of the civilian base to be treated one way than over another. Like, I don't get that. Like, if you have a good argument for that, I'll listen to it, but I can't see how you can rationalize that.
Right. We didn't actually say what we're talking about, but
we're talking about the protests, obviously.
The protests, the
boycotts.
Shooting, yes.
The wildcat strike, some people have called it, which technically they are. If you refuse to work and you're in a union, it's a wildcat strike. It's not a boycott. But, that's whatever. The other kind of issue I had on this is why they're making all the big fuss over it on the most recent incident, which was the Jacob Blake dude, because they're saying, he had a warrant out for his arrest and stuff like that. This wasn't the most honorable dude to go after. And you know what? I agree with that. This guy, from what I've heard, he doesn't sound like the greatest dude. Like he's wanted on sexual felony charges, I believe it was. He was accused of, like, this isn't proven in court. This is what was accused. He was accused of breaking into some woman's house at 6 o'clock in the morning and doing stuff to her.
Yeah.
With his hands.
He's accused of multiple things.
So, okay. So that's, so I will say right now, like, this dude, you know what? Not a good dude. That's fine. Whatever. I sent Neil the link of the video of him getting shot 7 times.
Because I had not seen it at that point.
And to me, it doesn't really matter what your deal is. Like, I guess at some point, maybe it does, but this was a guy that they tased twice, and he just shook it off like crazy. Like, I don't know how you can get tased twice and not be really affected by it.
Drugs maybe or something?
They were called to a domestic disturbance from what I understand. And apparently he wants to see his kids or take his kids, or like he's obviously with the woman of the mother of his children. They're not together. And anyway, so the police are having that issue with him, and there's 2 people filming it. And after he gets tased the second time, he just gets up and walks around in front of his car, and it just starts getting into his car. And that's when the cop grabs him by the back of the shirt and shoots him 7 times. And I said to Neil, I don't know why you got to shoot a guy 7 times, 1 or 2, and it would have been over.
I have 2 issues with this entire situation. That's one of them.
Okay, what's the other one?
The other one was, and I think I may have actually said this to you in chat when we originally just talking about it, is there was an opportunity to take a different action. There was an opportunity to prevent him going to his truck. I would have liked to see a tackle, hit him with a baton, do whatever you can to prevent him from getting into his truck. Because when he gets into that vehicle, you know that you're allowed, or legal action. You can take legal action to shoot someone because you're a police, because he's reaching, because whatever. It's almost like they were waiting for him to do it so they could shoot him. Tackle him.
The cop was following him around the car the whole time with his gun drawn
just
behind
following him.
He was unarmed at the time. Apparently, they say he had a knife in his car. He wasn't reaching for the knife. He was just getting into his car. And even if he was reaching for the knife, you don't got to shoot him 7 times.
Yeah, and like, if you're going to shoot him in the leg. Shoot him in the butt. You don't need to rock 7 shots into, like...
But this is just one example of the many, 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 many examples of what's going on. And to me, this was just the final straw for these players, specifically the NBA players, to take action. So they didn't do it just because of this guy, which a lot of people seem to be hooked on. They did it for all of the things leading up until now. And they've done a couple things before, like kneeling or not going out for anthems or whatever. And it's just, that's not getting the message across. So this is the next step. And that's what they decided to do. And then my third issue, it's not really an issue, I guess it's just a observation, is people saying, like, this isn't going to accomplish anything. What's the point of canceling my games for 2 days when you're just going to start playing it on Saturday and nothing's going to get accomplished?
Right.
And I'll agree with you on that. Like,
I understand that.
The games aren't going to change anything. Like, this is not a quick issue. Like, this is going to take 30, 40, 50, 100 years to fix.
Unfortunately, you're right.
This is, but it has to start somewhere, right?
This is a generational
That's right.
thing.
But stuff has happened because of this.
Correct. So stuff will continue to happen.
That's right.
Of this.
So, like, the biggest thing here is the NBA players, obviously. They started this. They are driving it. Other leagues have kind of followed suit, kind of because they felt like they had to. Whether or not that's a good thing, I don't know. Like, some people are saying, well, the players should have... Like, a lot of people are really mad that the players played on Wednesday night, I believe. Like, they said, shouldn't have gone out there. Like, I don't know if I agree with that. Like, the players are going to do what they want to do. And if they feel that this is what they need to do, then I support that.
And at least one of the 3 games, I believe, they didn't even know what was going on until they got off the ice from that
it was
first
too
game.
Close to the start of it or whatever.
And the recent shutting down of games Friday night or Thursday and Friday, that was led by the players.
Yes.
Not by the league, not by the teams. The team supported the players' decision, but it was the players who started it. So I don't like it. This isn't I don't care that they delayed their decision. You don't need to be first to the race.
That's what I mean. Like, why do you get mad over it?
I don't get it.
Like, there's a lot of people that are super, like, if you read Twitter and stuff like that, or even Discord, there's people that are like extremely upset that you have to wait another 2 days to watch that game when you just waited 4 months for these games to come back. Like, what's 2 more days?
It's so insignificant.
Like, even if this does nothing, at least they're trying to do something.
Right.
Like, that's the way I look at it. Like, maybe this doesn't change a whole lot, but at least they're trying to do something about it.
And the players that you cheer for, they're the ones that made the decision not to play.
That's right.
So you can't be mad at the players. You can't be mad at the league.
Like there are people mad at the players, though. Like,
just accept it.
Like, you get people
Don't
online saying, like, I'm no longer watching this team anymore because of their whatever. Like,
see ya.
Like I said, they're just asking for equality.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand like that.
For the record, the main issues that I have with the whole incident, the not tackling the 7 shots, regardless if he was black or not, that's still an issue. When has it become? At what point did it become so easy to shoot someone, regardless of skin color? Like, that's not okay. Like,
I was talking to Neil before the live stream on Friday, and I don't know if it was last year or the year before. Fredericton, where we live, had a really bad shooting.
They did.
Someplace, actually, it was like literally 10 minutes down the road from me, not even.
Yeah.
There was a guy that was held up in like these kind of apartment complexes, and he shot 2 people out of his window on the 2nd floor, which is like unheard of for this area. There's like no crime in Fredericton. It's like all petty stuff.
Yeah.
So 2 police officers went to the scene, and he shot both of them as well, and they all died. So he killed 4 people. So, as expected, they send the force en masse to this place, and they arrest the guy without injury.
Yeah.
They didn't shoot him. They didn't beat him. They arrested him. And he killed 2 civilians and 2 of their fellow officers.
Yep.
And I said, that would not happen if this was the United States of America.
That's not the only incident either.
No, there's been plenty.
In Moncton, Jeremy Bork.
That's right. The RCMP shooter.
Yep. He killed multiple cops. One that I actually knew personally. When I was the president of the youth center.
Justin Bork.
Nope.
Was Jeremy Bork? His name was Justin Bork for some reason.
Maybe it's, I don't know.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah. I was the president of the youth center in the hometown, my hometown. And he would come and just kind of hang out with us because we would get some misfits there and stuff, and we had to kind of like guide them back, whatever. And he would come and I'd introduce him and he'd try and mentor them and stuff. We played Halo together, Xbox and all this stuff. So there have been some big shootings in specifically Atlantic Canada, and even the one in Nova Scotia that just happened. But in 2 of the 3 incidences, they arrested the perp after they killed someone.
After he killed cops.
After he killed cops and took them in. So we're not saying Canada is better than the United States.
No, absolutely not. It's just things are handled differently. And obviously there's bad cops and good cops.
Absolutely.
And obviously there's more good cops than bad cops. And like any job out there, there's a couple bad apples that ruin the entire industry or that job for everyone else. Like you can look at, say, like, your postal people or your UPS guys and have one bad delivery and automatically that company sucks for you because that one guy screwed up.
And it's just like in hockey. Like, there's going to be a Matt Cook who does something stupid, or a Marty McSorley who hits someone in the head with a stick. Like, not all hockey players are these players.
That's right.
There's always going to be a select person or people who make others look bad because they share the same job or they share, whatever. So it's... I feel bad for a lot of people in the United States and Canada and the rest of the world, obviously, because of race. And I'm emotionally exhausted that this is happening still. And I'm white. Yep. I can't imagine how someone of another race feels.
Like, I can't imagine having like a son and a daughter and then having to teach them how to behave if a cop pulls them over.
Yeah. Seriously, that's a really good point.
These are the things you need to make sure you do. Like, white people, I don't think, have that conversation with their kids in the United States.
I don't think so.
Like,
did you have that conversation?
No.
I didn't either.
Like, it's like we're not taking a stance, I don't think, other than saying that we should be doing what we can to increase the fairness that everyone gets treated equally.
Everyone should be treated equally.
Yes.
Like, how is that so hard? Like, I just don't get it. Like, I just don't get it.
Like, I'm sure these police people see like lots of crap, like, and certain demographics they have stats on and have more crime. And you know what? That's true. But that's also what people are trying to change too, is trying to improve the conditions that people are raised in and improve the conditions people are living in and, reducing drugs and all that stuff. Like, it's a huge issue. This is a societal issue. This isn't a sports issue. Like, I didn't even want to talk about this when this first started going down this week. And
It's a sensitive topic.
I said to Neil, I said, oh, hopefully this doesn't, whatever. And then as soon as the NBA did what they did and the NHL did, I said, wait, we're going to have to talk about it.
So, like, this is a race issue, but it's also, like Jason said, it's a person-to-person issue. It's treating people with respect. I sent Jason a video. I don't know if you watched it or not, but it was of a white man running from the police, and like 6 cops, I think that like 24 shots hit him and he killed. Like, this is happening to not just black people. I'm not saying that the incident that happened wasn't, it wasn't racist or whatever. I'm just saying that there's a race issue and there's also a personal kindness issue. Like, you don't need to shoot someone 24 times, regardless of what. Like, it doesn't matter what color the skin is at that point. Like, why are we shooting people 24 times?
And today,
like, what
I think I don't know what the acronym is. It's the police association. It's the Las Vegas Police Department's police association. So their union issued a statement to the team saying they were disappointed that they were jumping on the bandwagon of not supporting cops until all the facts are out. And in the statement, he had, what if he was reaching for a gun? What if this? What if that? So that's so stupid to me, because it's not a what if situation. Like, the facts are the facts. Like Neil said, you could have tackled him. There was plenty of cops standing around. They all could have tackled him and arrested him.
I just keep going back to that.
Like, literally, there was a warrant out for his arrest. You could have tackled him and put the handcuffs on him and took him away.
Yeah. And if you can't tackle him, and there's like 4 of you there, how many cops were there? I don't even know.
I don't know. You can't tell from the video.
I can't remember. There's at least 2. I know that.
Oh, there's at least more than 2, I think.
If we'll say there's 3 or 4. If there's more, if you can't tackle one guy and keep him down with tasers and batons and everything, and you're just allowing him to walk back to his vehicle, it shouldn't be police.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be police.
And like I said, you don't have to shoot him 7 times.
Yeah.
Like, 7 is excessive force to me anyway. I don't know.
That's excessive to me too. But I mean, we are Canadian, so we're not used to that at all. There is not gun crime here.
I mean, there is in the big cities, but it's not like down in the States.
When is the last time that you heard of a cop shooting a civilian, criminal or not, in Canada, that caused a death that was unjustified?
I don't know.
I think there was one in Toronto a couple of years ago, and other than that, I don't think there's been any. But I think it was I got some guy in a bus maybe in Toronto, and I think he had a knife. He was holding people hostage. I can't really remember. Maybe I shouldn't even talk about it. But it, like, again, I'm not saying Canada is better. I'm just saying that we're not used to it. Like, and we understand the other side of the story. We're not saying that we're right. We're just basing, like, our opinions are based on our experience, based on life. Like,
yeah,
like it,
and like part of what they're trying to do is to get more people chances to vote and stuff like that. And again, I don't see how that's seen as political, because they're not telling them to vote a specific way. They're just saying that, we live in a democracy, which is what the United States is, land of the free.
Right.
They're giving an opportunity for more people to have their voice heard. And I don't, why would you be against that? Unless you live in a state where if you think you give more people chances to vote, your guy won't get in. And that's you being political, not the situation being political, because I mean, the system is set up the way it's set up. Like, everyone, it's crazy how you'll hear of polling stations down there and stuff get either closed, or they'll have minimal staff, or huge 5-hour waits.
Right.
Up here on voting day, you go in, you vote, it takes 10 minutes, and then you leave.
Yeah, pretty much. It's really smooth.
We live in a city of, how many people live here? 60,000 people, 70,000 people?
I think it's 81,000 now or something like that. But
there is so many places to go and vote based on where you live. We vote 2 minutes up the road. If you live down at the end of the street, you vote at the end of the street. There is so many places to vote. And,
churches, town halls, it's just.
And a lot of times you just walk in, vote, and walk out.
I've done that last time I did.
There's minimal lines. Sometimes there's no lines.
Now, there is a population difference, obviously, between America.
Yes.
There's 35 million people in Canada, and there's 350 million
That's right.
in the United States. There's more people who living in California than there is in the entire country of Canada. But
that's more reason why they should have more polling stations available.
More people, more buildings.
That's right.
More opportunity to open polling stations.
That's right.
So that's actually kind of a good segue into some arena stuff.
Okay, so the NBA, they released a joint statement, and I actually didn't know this until today. And they outlined 3 things they wanted to happen for them to return to play today on Saturday, or yesterday for when you're listening to this. I won't get into the first two, but the second one, this is what it says. And it says, every city where the league franchise owns and controls their arena property, the team governors will continue to work with local election officials to convert the facility into a voting location for the 2020 general election. This is a good change because these are massive buildings that can hold lots of people. COVID's going to make things a little bit difficult to vote, especially if you can't have those big, huge lines and have hours of waiting with COVID going on. So this is a good move.
And this has to do with, there was a lot of polling stations being shut down in like minority areas and stuff. And that is one of the big concerns here. So even though this is politically related because it's an election, it's also had to do with race as well because of some polling stations that were shut down in minority areas. What else was I going to say? I don't remember. I'll think of it. You keep going. Sorry, I interrupted you.
So there's three arenas that I know of for sure that are like NBA and NHL actually share a lot of arenas together. So I assume those ones that the NBA have on board will be included in this list. I just don't know. But specifically, the American Airlines Center in Dallas is going to do it. Madison Square Garden in New York is going to do it. And the Gila River Arena in Glendale is going to do it. Plus the NBA arenas that own their arenas there, or the people who own the teams who own their arenas.
And I'm sure there's going to be more to come in the next couple of days.
And another note I wrote down here is that apparently it's being reported today that the Dallas Stars lost some big clients because Sagan and Dickinson took a knee during the anthem.
Yeah.
Whether those big clients are corporate box holders or sponsors, I don't know.
Curious to know who they are.
There's big money that are unhappy with people showing these things. And again, that's like, why?
It comes back to political.
That's right.
Yeah. I just don't get it.
So anyway, that's really all I want to say on it.
Well, there is, I can't remember. Maybe it was Anthony Stewart. It was either Anthony Stewart or Anson Carter made the point where, they're taking a break and nothing's like, that's not really going to solve anything, but it's going to generate conversation, and it's going to, that conversation has already led to some things. Like an idea was to promote minorities and indigenous and whatever hockey programs to get those races, interest in hockey and playing hockey. So in the next generation moving up, the NHL is filled with not just white guys or, Canadian, like white Canadians or white Americans or white Europeans. Like we do have some black players, obviously PK Subban, Evander Kane, Ryan Reeves. Like we have some, but look at the NBA. Like it's such a difference between like hockey is a primarily white sport.
Yep.
NBA is.
It's expensive to get into.
It's expensive to get into, and some of the families who have immigrated to America or Canada, it's tough financially. So to have those programs in place for these people or for these kids coming up, I think that's a great idea. I think that's fantastic. So just conversations like this kind of generate those ideas that may not fix anything right now, but fix something for the future. And just broadly, 2020 is a terrible year.
Yes.
Like this is the worst year.
Literally.
Not like for me personally, but just for the world since I've been alive, it's terrible. However, in 2030, we're going to look back on 2020, and a lot of things in 2030 will be really good, or at least very improved, because of what happened in 2020. Our lives in 2030 will be much better than if COVID didn't happen and all these protests didn't happen. Like, yeah, 2020 sucks. There's a lot of crap going on, but it's going to fix a lot of things for the future, medically, socially. So in 10 years, we're going to look back on this year and think, yeah, that was a crappy year, but we're also going to be, this is my personal opinion, I think we're kind of going to be thankful that some of this stuff happened to propel us in a better direction for the future. So, trying to be a little positive spin on 2020.
Like a lot of times solutions come from reactions to events, like not preventative stuff. So like something happens and then you address it and then you fix it going forward.
War.
Yeah.
Potentially the most terrible thing that the human race has ever been involved with. But look at all the positive things that have come out of war with medicine, technology, like transportation. All the stuff was generated from war, which is a terrible thing. So there is good that comes from bad.
Now we have submarines that can wipe out the entire Earth.
Of course, it comes back to submarines.
I was watching a submarine documentary last night, actually, and there's like a new class of United States submarine being built right now.
Really?
Coming out for the 2030, I think is when it's supposed to come out. Heck yeah.
Did you watch the Smarter Everyday video of Destin going into the submarine?
Nope.
Oh, he's doing a whole series on it.
Is it the one where he starts in the Arctic or whatever? And
Yes.
Okay, I did see that.
But he's doing other sections. He went inside of a torpedo tube and crawled to the other end.
Really?
The end, and he signed his name on the.
I wouldn't do
release
that.
door.
I'd be claustrophobic of that.
Yeah, it was pretty tight. But it's a good submarine talk. You should watch it though.
I love submarines.
Jason loves submarines.
Are you good with this?
I'm good.
Okay. All right, with that done, hello and welcome to the Post to Post podcast, episode 114 for August 30th, aka August 29th, because that's when we're doing it. 2020, Jason, Neil. We probably should have introduced ourselves in that last.
You know what? Names aren't required for
No.
a conversation like that.
Chances are, if you're watching this, you know who we are. Or listening to this, you know who we are anyway. All right, so we got a couple things here.
Some actual hockey.
Yeah,
Conversations.
obviously we got series going on right now. Some earlier today on the Saturday, and then more tonight. But we have some news from this week, and I'll get into that. And these are kind of in order how they happened because I just added stuff to the pad.
Yeah, and Jason did all these notes. I was a failure of a partner here for this podcast this week. Jason you're the king this week. Thank you.
I missed the last 3 days of work on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So Wednesday and Thursday I had like a cold, and Thursday and Friday I had a different incident. If you're on the live stream, you kind of heard about that. I'm not going to get into that right now. So let's just say I had 3 days of recuperation. So I don't have a lot of notes. So this is going to be a little bit like, I know we talked quite a bit earlier in the first opening segment here, but this is going to be pretty short, and Neil's moving and he's busy. And so that's fine. We're okay with having a little bit shorter podcast this week.
Can I tell you the actual reason why I didn't want to film tomorrow? Because I didn't tell you. I just said I was busy, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to get 2 cats.
You getting 2 cats tomorrow?
2 cats.
Did you figure out the names yet?
Yeah, 2 kittens.
Okay. So we got Goose.
Greta
And Goose.
and Goose.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm dead serious. Man, Greta's amazing. Greta Van Fleet.
You're gonna have to send me some pictures of them. Maybe I can like put them on the video.
Oh, I can definitely send you pictures. Okay. Yeah, I already have some.
I knew one was Goose, and he was having a hard time.
See, I think I wanted a G name. I was thinking about Dax.
I know you were thinking about Dax. I actually like Dax a lot.
Dax is a pro name. I was thinking about Reese, Nugget.
Some people were saying Maverick, but that's not really a female name because Neil's is the female.
Yeah. Pickles was a strong contender.
Pickles was a good one.
Pickles and Goose. That was a pretty good combo. And ironically, the new place that I moved into smells like pickles.
You're friggin' right, it does.
But anyways, I wanted a G name because I like Goose. That Goose is happening.
Goose was instant.
And that's a boy. And the other one is a girl. So I was like, Gina, Georgia, Greta. Greta's an amazing name for a cat. It's like,
oh man,
when's the last time you saw a cat named Greta?
Never.
Exactly. Greta and Goose.
All right. So yeah, that's intense.
That's why that's why we're filming tonight, not tomorrow, because I'm going to get them midday, which is usually when we film. So
are they local or you gotta go?
They are past Woodstock.
Ooh, a little bit of a drive.
Yeah.
All right. So with Greta and Goose out of the way,
and yes, I will be making video on the production channel introducing them.
Man, that'll probably be a highly viewed video.
It probably will.
All right. So the first of the week we had the Capitals fire head coach Todd Reirden.
Are you surprised by this?
No,
I'm not either.
2 years. That's all he lasted.
They wouldn't pay
Barry Trotz. They upgraded Todd Reirden, and he didn't get the job done. 2 first-round exits, and they said, see ya. So the next coach they hire will be the 7th coach Alex Ovechkin has had on that team.
Coming into the final year of his contract, I believe. Yeah. I think it's the final year.
I have no idea.
Anyways, it's close. I wonder if Ovechkin resigns in Washington. I don't think... You know where he... Look, listen, I don't want to start any rumors.
There's been a lot of rumors today.
Do you know where his favorite place to play is?
Don't say Montreal.
He loves Montreal.
There's no way.
He loves Montreal. He's been on record saying multiple times that he loves playing in Montreal.
There's no way.
I'm just saying.
That'd be
August 29th, 2020. You heard it here first.
So yeah.
It was the right decision. I would have done the same thing.
They should have
paid him.
They should have paid the man.
Pay Barry, Brent's brother.
Yep.
Like, just how do you not pay him? He won his Stanley Cup. Ovechkin and Barry had a really good relationship.
Yep.
Pay him. Why would he not pay him?
Like, why would you not pay a man that gives you a cup?
And it's not like it's a fluke. It's not like someone coming in, they give you a cup.
I mean, look
whatever.
what he's doing with the Islanders right now.
Exactly.
He's a good coach.
This is a proven good coach.
Yep.
He's one of the most winningest coaches in the past 20 years.
So I have a fun fact here about Reirden. That's how you pronounce the name? Reirden? I don't know.
What?
Is it Reirden?
Oh, Todd Reirden.
Yeah. So he, of the coaches they've hired in the Alex Ovechkin area, he is one of 5 that this was their first time being a head coach.
Wow.
So I'm seeing a pattern here.
Bit of a pattern.
They like the cheap, inexperienced guy, and it's not working out for them.
Barry Trotz is such a no-nonsense coach.
Yep.
Like, he gets emotional, but not to the level where he's like in players' faces and stuff. From what I've heard and from what I've seen on TV and whatever and read, he's intense, but he's not like, he'll convey himself and he'll look angry, but he won't be disrespectful.
Yep.
Where some coaches are. I think players really like Barry Trotz, even though he's a bit hard on them. And I think Ovechkin missed it a little bit.
He was the only coach that they hired that had previous experience and the only coach to get them past the second round in the playoffs.
That's unbelievable.
So, I mean, if you like analytics, it's pretty strong analytics right here. So Brian McClellan, who is the general manager of the team, says, I think we need an experienced coach. That was literally a direct quote from him. We have an experienced group of players, and we need someone to come in and push some buttons on some players. So I do not expect their next hire to be a nobody or an assistant. Right. I expect this to be someone that we all know of already.
Okay, so who's out there?
There's a lot of people out there right now.
There's Mike Babcock. I can't see Mike Babcock coming in this. It's too soon. I feel like it's too soon for Mike Babcock.
If I was Mike Babcock, I wouldn't jump into anything. He's
getting paid by Toronto.
Exactly. You're getting paid mega by Toronto.
Man, just chill. Who else is out there? We got Gerard Gallant.
My boy. I want him to hold off.
He should hold off.
He needs to get someplace better.
Seattle. Epic.
Can you imagine being the main coach of two
expansion
teams?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I can't think of anyone else off the top of my head.
I can't either. I'm still not fully recovered. If you see me in the live stream yesterday, I was like low-keyed, had bloodshot eyes.
Yeah, you looked like you were into some stuff.
Do you know what time I woke up today? 2:34 in the afternoon.
What time did you go to bed?
Not late. 12:30.
I went to bed around 12:30 as well. Guess what time I woke up? On my own.
Really?
7:12.
Oh, no. See, I was like 9 hours behind you or whatever.
My new bedroom has a lot of windows with a lot of light, which I'm not used to. So
no curtains up or anything yet.
There is curtains there, but it's still super bright.
You're gonna have to upgrade those curtains.
I know.
From uncommon quality to rare quality. We need some rare quality curtains in that room. I don't know what I was gonna say. I don't know what I was gonna say before that, but I had something to say. What were we talking about?
Coaches.
Coaches. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna move on because I can't think right now. Oh, we're talking about my condition. Yeah, I don't want to talk about that. All right. So after that, we had a trade.
Hockey's going on, so I'm not really my mind's just not thinking about teams that are out or movements or anything like this. And all of a sudden on Twitter,
there's a trade.
I see a trade. I'm like, this is one of these fake accounts that have popped up and someone thinks it's real. It's real. It was real. Kapanen.
So a 6-player deal.
Yeah, it's not like it was a small thing. It was a big deal with the significant players.
So Kasperi Kapanen is obviously the big piece for Toronto. He's a pretty good player. He's a really hard worker. He's like one of their few players that actually goes in the corners and fights for the puck.
Yeah,
so
true.
We'll see how that turns out. They gave up Jesper Lindgren and Pontus Aberg. Apologize if I'm saying those wrong. The Penguins gave up their first round pick in 2020, which is the 15th overall. So the Leafs now have a first round pick in this draft. They didn't have one before. Now they do. They gave up Evan Rodriguez, Philip Hallander, and David Warsofsky. And I don't know who it was. I should have wrote this down. The Leafs have experience with one of these players before. It might have been David Warsofsky. I can't remember. So they kind of know what they're getting.
Okay.
They've seen him when he was younger, so they're okay with that. And Kapanen's cap hit was $3.2 million, so obviously it gives them a little bit of wiggle room to do some more trades this offseason.
I mean, they also shed some other salary with Pontus Aberg. Am I first? Is he worth a first? I don't think so.
I think the Penguins have had Kapanen before.
Really?
Did they draft him?
I don't know.
There's something they knew what they were getting in this. I know that for sure. Like I'm 100% positive that Pittsburgh knows the deal with Kapanen, not just from afar. Like I think they've had them in his organization.
Are you thinking of Darius Kasparaitis?
No, I'm definitely not. I shouldn't do a podcast 3 days after being sick for 3 days.
And I have not been on social media for like the past 4 days, so
yeah.
I'm not well educated.
This has been a weird week.
It has been a very strange week. Very, very strange week.
Yeah.
I just don't think it's worth I just don't think it's worth a first overall. Toronto gets to shed the cap, and they get like this is a deep draft.
He's a good worker. Like he'll work.
I think he'll be very complimentary.
Yes, he'll be
in
good.
Pittsburgh.
Like, yes, he'll be on the top 6 in Pittsburgh for sure.
Yep.
I think Pittsburgh's way of thinking is if we've got Crosby and Malkin, we got to go for it while we still have them.
I guess, but what happens when they're gone and you've just traded around a first pick? Like that's.
I think that doesn't matter. They'll go over that bridge when they get there.
I don't like this trade for Pittsburgh. I don't like it. I think this was a good trade by Toronto.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
That's my final verdict.
Our boy John Tortorella, we talked about with your dad on the last podcast for taking 2 questions and then telling everyone to be safe and leaving. He got fined for that. $25,000.
I think, how many podcasts do we do a year?
I don't know.
Like 30, 35-ish?
I have no idea.
I would say in about 10 of those, we talk about John Tortorella being fined.
Okay, don't look at the sheets.
Okay.
I think you're going to overblow this, but I'm going to ask you.
All right.
How much do you think John Tortorella has been fined in his coaching career?
Oh, geez. Like 250,000?
Yeah, no, 162,000.
162. Kind of thinking back to different teams and incidents. I knew there was that big fight between when he coached Vancouver.
Oh, yeah.
Like Calgary.
Right into the other dressing room or right out in front of the dressing room.
Yeah, I couldn't remember how much he got fined for that, but so I bumped it. I overkilled it, so you're right.
Anyway, that's funny.
Wow.
I was really
That's a
surprised.
lot of money, though.
Oh, yeah. Can you imagine if that money went to us?
Dude, that's more money than I would make in like 8 years.
Yeah, like, that would be pro if that money went to us.
That'd be
if
amazing.
you do something dumb, you have to give your money to a YouTuber. Heck yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
All right, moving on. Mike Green has announced his retirement from the NHL.
Are you surprised?
No, he's
Not
old.
really.
15 years in the league. He's been on the All-Star selections twice, 360 points. He was a fan favorite defenseman in Washington for a long time. 10 years with Washington. In 2015, he left the Capitals to join the Red Wings in free agency. And then in this year, he was traded to Oilers, but he only played for 2 games.
Yeah, and then he declined, I think, to come in for the play-ins. Right. A very, very smart player.
So, kind of intense way to go out.
Yeah, unfortunate. Very unfortunate.
Definitely not the way a player would want to go out.
I hope he gets involved with hockey, though, in some form or fashion. Totally. He's a really, really smart player.
Totally.
I've always really liked Green. But, yeah, that's tough. To go out like that. Obviously not like...
It's like out with a whimper, and some people will... I mean, we've talked about this before. People have their reasons for not wanting to play while this is going on, depending on, family or whatever. And there's just a lot of idiots online that will begrudge, is that
Selfish
the word?
People.
Yeah, like just they'll look at that and they love say bad things about him. But
the tear down culture.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's the way he's going to go out, and people will attack that.
Yep.
But whatever. I don't think that of him.
No, fully respect his decision.
Claude Julien is apparently feeling great after getting that stent put in, and he will return to the Habs next season.
We've talked about this last 2 podcasts.
We thought he was done.
I'm genuinely surprised.
Dude has it in his heart that he wants to coach. Doesn't need the money.
Great. It doesn't need them. Like, that's great though that he's he's feeling great and stuff, and he wants to come back. But,
so I've got a couple Claude Julien quotes if you want to hear them.
Yeah.
So the team put out says that he's feeling great, and if the Canadians had won Game 6, he would have returned to the bubble.
Oh wow!
So he was ready to go.
That's actually impressive.
Yeah. So apparently, obviously, that he did not win Game 6, and they're out.
Yeah.
So then Eric Engels on Twitter put out a couple quotes by Julien himself, and he said, "In the middle of the night, I just woke up and I didn't feel right. There was chest pains and it really felt like it was heartburn. I reached out to the trainer, and we decided it was safer to go to the hospital, and they discovered I needed a stent." So that's just him talking about the initial incident. He said, "This is comedy enough, and other NHL coaches have had stents inserted and still coach. I'm not the first, and I won't be the last." And he said, "I had a scare, but I can come back at 100%.
I mean, good that they caught it, because if, what if you hadn't woken up and it continued and continued, and then boom, something big happens, and then unfortunate.
Speaking of getting caught, this is a good time to insert a PSA that is completely unrelated.
Okay.
So yesterday, the dude who plays Black Panther died.
He did.
He died from colon cancer. So if you're a dude out there and you suspect you may have some issues, you need to go get checked and put your manhood aside and not worry about that crap.
That's right. If you think you got something wrong,
that's right.
Get the finger.
So, yeah.
Just man up.
It's not that big of a deal. I've been there once.
I have not.
Not to get into that, but I mean, you take some crushed up crap, mix it in a drink, and you drink it, and then you literally pee out your butt for all night to clean you out. That's quite an experience, I'll tell you that. But then when you actually go in for the thing, it's not a big deal. Like,
it is what it is. Like,
sure, it's embarrassing, but these doctors do that for their living.
They do not care about you, like personally. They just.
It's not a big deal.
No.
So if you suspect there's something going on, it's way better than the alternative, you having regret and your family having regret, and then your family living without you.
Exactly.
So if you
I didn't know that he was sick. Like, I didn't.
No, I don't think anybody did. And he was playing all these different roles and gaining weight and losing weight. So mad props.
Absolutely. Like, I was shocked. I was just like, I knew the name at first, and then I saw the picture. I'm like, what?
Yeah. I was super blown away. Do you remember his name?
Chadwick
B something?
I'm not good with names.
Okay. Anyway, as soon as I read the name, I knew who it was, and I was like, what? And I clicked on it, and sure enough, there was his picture. So anyway, that's my PSA for now. All right. So we talked about this on a podcast a long time ago, where Arizona was illegally interviewing
it was a while
players
ago.
from the Canadian Hockey League and doing testing on them when they weren't allowed to, and they got caught.
This was maybe before COVID, I think.
It was way before COVID. Yeah. And anyway, there was a hearing on August 6th with Gary Bettman that included testimony from representatives of the team and the league. And the Arizona Coyotes admitted that they were illegally testing people. Like, they didn't try to hide it. Like, they just came out and said, yeah, we did. We were doing physical testing on 2020 draft eligible players prior to the combine, which is illegal.
2020 is just not really a good year in general, but 2020 is really not a good year for the Arizona Coyotes.
No, it's not.
Goalie injuries. Taylor Hall probably leaving. The coaching or the GM drama. The statements that were made after that. Now this. I feel bad for Coyotes fans, but I don't feel bad for the team. I don't feel bad for the owners.
Yeah.
Like, screw you.
There was some talk online about whether certain individuals were going to get more punishment than others, because obviously, maybe it was the GM pushing it, maybe it was the coach,
right?
So Bettman put a quote out and said, "As for club personnel who participated in or may have contributed to the club's violation of the policy, I have decided that no discipline shall be imposed on these individuals." While I conclude that certain club personnel acted in a grossly negligent manner at best, which is conceded by the club, ultimately will conclude that the record does not establish to a standard which I am comfortable that those individuals engaged in intentional wrongdoing as opposed to grossly negligent behavior. If you understood anything I just said there, you are amazing.
Epic. This is a pretty harsh penalty.
So
go ahead and read
it. They can. I didn't put this in my notes, but normally this penalty comes with a $250,000 fine to the team. They did not get that fine because I don't know if they can afford to pay that fine.
You're not wrong. So yeah,
they got nailed with their 2020 second round pick. So their second round pick in this draft, and they also lost their first round pick in next year's draft.
That's a huge loss.
Draft picks are big.
Like, that's your future, and the future is questionable in Arizona, unfortunately. I feel really bad for Coyotes fans because they're the ones that suffer. I mean, obviously the team suffers, but the fans are the ones that suffer.
The fans had nothing to do with this.
Had nothing to do with it, and they get punished for it. Ridiculous.
All right. I have a couple notes about the GM search in Florida. So they don't have a GM yet at the time of us doing this. But apparently, Larry Brooks of the New York Post Sports has reported that Eddie Olczyk has been interviewed. And
that's
I believe awesome. It was Darren Dreger on TSN said that Florida's not the only one that's interested in Eddie O.
Dude, Eddie O's elite. I'm a big fan of Eddie Olczyk.
Yep. But right now, it is believed that the Panthers' biggest interest is in the former Bruins and Oilers GM Peter Chiarelli, which I'm not a big fan of Peter Chiarelli.
He's made some really questionable moves.
He won a cup with Boston, but when he was fired / left Boston, their cap situation was a mess.
Yes.
Ditto for Oilers.
Yes.
And so he's not a very good cap man.
Who gave the contract to Lucic?
Which one? Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I mean, if Florida hires him, they can expect Lucic to be traded there, maybe.
Pretty much. Yeah, I don't like that. Don't like that at all.
Okay, and then the last note I have for news stuff is this is a broadcast update. So Dave Randorf, who's on Sportsnet, you probably recognize his voice. If you've seen his face, you probably recognize his face too. His contract's not getting renewed at Sportsnet, and this basically occurred because Chris Cuthbert got hired. And so Mark Hebsner, who has a podcast called Hebsy on Sports, he went into a little bit of a rant about it and just gives some context about it. So I'm going to read it real quick. It says, Dave Randorf did not have his contract renewed at Sportsnet. This is a guy who has 20 plus years of experience at the national level and was in line for promotion. So that's kind of intense.
Exactly. A lot of companies do that.
But when Sportsnet signed Chris Cuthbert a few months ago, the writing was on the wall for Randorf. I understand that it was Cuthbert who called Sportsnet and not the other way around. Apparently, he wanted out of TSN because his workload would have been severely reduced without CFL games, which is true because TSN doesn't have the rights to the hockey in our National Hockey League. They have no CFL. There's literally nothing for him to do. He's not a young man. He's getting near the end of his career. He wants to call meaningful games.
Which, unfortunate, because he was very good in the CFL for calling those games.
But he's also, I think a lot of people really enjoy his play-by-play too. So this was, I seen this as a good move. I really liked when they signed him. And then he says with Cuthbert and Randorf was the odd man out. And he says he also reached out to Brendan Dunlop, who is Sportsnet anchor, to confirm the status of the company. He couldn't. And then he says he's going to be a free agent. And the last thing he signs out with is Sportsnet seems to push a dozen or so people off a cliff every year, and their turnover rate is staggering. TSN does not treat its employees that way.
It's true.
And that is 100% true. And I wasn't going to read that last paragraph, but that last line I did want to read.
We talked about it last week, didn't we?
Yep. We talked about Doug McLean. Nick Kyprios. Who's the other guy that was the host? He works with Vegas now.
Oh, yeah, right.
Darren Millard. Bob McCowan. John Shannon.
These are huge names.
Like lots of the industry vets.
And I mean, it's not like they haven't brought on good people.
No.
Like Kevin Bieksa. I thought Kevin Bieksa has done amazing so far.
Kevin Bieksa has done really well.
But still.
We even gave him his own segment in the podcast last week. That's all I have for my notes. If you want an update on the shelf, I put RIP shelf in the last update. If you're an audio listener, I apologize for this, but this is mainly for the YouTube people. So we had 2 shelves in the back. One of them fell last week. There was just a piece of double-sided like that. We bought this like super heavy duty, like 30-pound tape.
Yeah.
And
we knew that our shelves were only going to be holding
like hats and stuff, like
2
very light
pounds
stuff.
The most.
Yeah. So
and the shelves themselves were pretty light. Thought we were okay.
The shelf is over there and it's like smashed up. This shelf here is now dipping on the left side, if you can see that. So this is the last episode that we will have shelves or a shelf in the background.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have to figure something out. But chances are next week is gonna be a pretty plain background because we're gonna have to take that shelf off before it crashes. Yeah. And we can't just have one shelf because it looks dumb, as you can see, having one shelf on one and nothing on the other.
If you have any ideas, let us know. But yeah, that's how it's going. We thought about maybe getting some bookcases or like bigger bookcases with shelves.
Put stuff in them,
maybe put some lighting in there or something like that. But we understand that we kind of block most of the background anyway. I don't know. If you have any ideas, let us know. We'll listen.
Within reason. This is a very small channel that does not do anything really, so it has a very limited budget.
How much did you make last month?
0.
0?
0.
I thought it was $14.
Oh, well, yeah, you have to get to like 100 before.
No, but I mean, like, how much?
I think since this channel started, it's at like $26, something like that.
Oh man, epic!
So obviously, we don't care about the money.
You can't even buy.
Literally, don't care about it.
You couldn't even buy a replacement shelf.
No, like the shelves are like $40 each.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, if you have recommendations, be realistic because I'm not going to go and spend a couple $100s on stuff when that's a net negative.
If we're going to spend a couple $100, it's likely going to be on a new mixer or it's going to be on technical related, not aesthetic related.
Yeah.
But I did buy something actually that's aesthetic related. It wasn't expensive, but I'm not sure if we should use it for my videos or your videos.
Is this something you showed me already?
I mean, I can touch. It's a hockey net.
Oh yeah, you told me about that.
So I don't know if a hockey net would totally.
I would say try to fit it into your set, and if it doesn't work, we can see what it looks like.
I wanted something in my background where I could hang jerseys up in. So I thought if I had a hockey net with two jerseys kind of like hanging like Kale does.
Yep.
I thought that might be kind of cool with two jersey racks on both sides, but I'm not sure if it's going to fit now that I have everything arranged in my new room. So.
Oh, do you have set up yet? Kinda? Not really?
Kind of. I'll show you a new picture and you can react.
Right.
I mean,
it's early days. I mean, this is only day one.
This is day one, and it is a very.
It's kind of not even really day one. You're still not totally out of the other place yet.
No. So desk that way, desk on the other side, and I'm thinking rack, net, rack.
Mm-hmm. It's very helpful for everyone that's watching and listening right now.
Just picture like a clothes rack or a jersey rack, and then a net, and then another one on the other side for symmetry. But I don't know.
You'll probably change it a bunch of times before you're happy with it.
Yes, but I do have a really good idea for the wall. I have a project in mind. I told Jason about it earlier. I'm not going to tell you guys, but it's kind of epic. It's so epic that I might be able to make a video of me creating what it is, and it's not hard to make.
Shouldn't be
hard to make. So, and if I can do it and it works, it's going to look amazing. So I'm pretty pumped for that. But it's not going to happen anytime soon. It's going to be like a month from now, at the earliest. So that's it. I think
we can wrap this one up. Obviously, the games of this week going on. We're not going to get into those right now. There's actually a game happening right now as we speak.
A game already over today that neither of us have watched.
Yeah,
we know
Boston
score,
game. Yeah,
but Tampa's up 3-1 on your team. How do you feel about that?
Not good. I wore this hat because this could be the last time I wear this hat.
Oh, we can wear your Dallas hat?
Yep.
Well, what if Dallas gets knocked out?
Doesn't matter. I always wear that hat. I wear this hat for the sport, the troops.
When did you get that hat anyways?
I don't know. This hat's pretty old now.
Is it?
Yep. Oh. I just wear the Dallas hat a lot because shout out to Fro. I like that hat.
Heck yeah. All right. Well, that kind of wraps it up. Anything left to say?
No, it's just been a weird week. Like I said, Neil moved. I've been sick for 3 days. Just, yeah.
Yeah, very strange week. Next week is also a bit of a weird week for me because I don't have any internet until Thursday at the earliest. I have furniture being delivered on Monday.
Internet people coming on Thursday, yeah.
So I have no internet on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and most of Thursday, which means no new videos are going to get... I mean, there's already videos scheduled for all of those days. So you're going to see content on the production channel, but I can't respond to comments as quickly as I could before, only on my phone. When I'm on my phone, I won't be as interactive on social media, just in general. So if you emailed me or you're trying to reach out to me, expect a delay, basically, is what I'm saying until Thursday. And then, videos will start to come out probably on Friday with a new background, which will be a work in progress. So I appreciate your patience if you like aesthetic backgrounds. But yeah, thanks Jason for doing all the notes this week. I really appreciate it. And thanks guys for listening, watching, whether you're watching on YouTube or listening on iTunes. We really appreciate you. If you are listening on iTunes, we'd love it if you could leave us a review. I think we're up to like 35 reviews. So we'd like to get a couple more in. And if you want to have some hockey conversations, join our Discord. I think the link is down below in the description. Yep. And if you really want to have some fun,
oh snap,
join us this coming Friday, and every Friday afterwards for a live stream. We are going to start this as a tradition. We will live stream on YouTube for roughly an hour. We're going to look at some jersey concepts or talk hockey or both. After that, we jump over to Twitch and we play marbles on stream. And there is a leaderboard, and that leaderboard will go until the end of September. And then the prize will be handed out. So if you want to get in on a prize, which is a Discord role, which is only given to a person usually once a year. Mm-hmm. It's the hardest role to get. I don't have it. Jason doesn't even have it. He made the damn thing.
There's 2 people got it in 2 years.
2 people got it in 2 years. So the winner after a month gets that. And it's a fun game. Like, it's a stupid game. You watch a marble roll down a thing, but everyone gets to play. And
you just hang out and chat and see how you do.
Yeah, and there's also a physical prize as well. I'm not sure exactly what it's going to be yet. It's either going to be a t-shirt, a hat, or like a jersey, hockey card, or something like that. So, yeah, we'd love it if you could join over on Twitch at twitch.tv/post-to-posts, or follow me personally over on my YouTube channel called Post to Post Productions. Otherwise, I would love it if you could subscribe to this channel, Post Podcast on YouTube. Hope you guys have an awesome day. I hope that you're excited for more hockey because round 2 is surprisingly coming to an end. It feels out quickly, even though with the delay, obviously, with a couple of days.
Yep.
It feels like it's like, what's going on? Like, this could be an elimination game soon, which is very strange. So hope you guys are excited. And that's the other thing. I won't be watching any hockey this week because I got no internet or TV. So guys, keep me informed. I need help this week. Keep me informed on social media. I'll do the best I can to be on there. But thanks, guys, for watching. Appreciate it. And we will catch you in the next podcast next week. Adios.
Okay, let's do an update. Update. Neil's looking like that. He's not going to be here next week.
I'm going to be in PEI. I apologize. I forgot.
So no podcast next week?
No podcast next week. But Dad and I will be filming videos, but no podcast. There's mail time coming for sure, and there's going to be some other things. No podcast. Apologies.
This has been a professional podcast brought to you by Jason and Neil. See you guys in 2 weeks.
Peace.
Epic.